Hey everyone, good afternoon. It's Friday, end of the week. Excuse me, I've just been a little bit under the weather, but what a week it has been. It's every week it seems like I feel like it's Groundhog's Day. I swear to you, for those of you that haven't watched the movie Groundhog's Day, please do me a favor, go watch it. It's a comedy, but it's waking up every single morning, and it's turning on the TV or picking up my iPad to start, putting together a letter or getting on the phone, speaking to my sources or speaking with Alexander in Ukraine or others on the movement, and it's like the same thing every single day. It's like literally a war that doesn't stop, like doesn't we're at war 24/7, folks, and and it's continuing. And I know I haven't been going live on a lot of things. I'm working on some major breaking news that I want to bring to you soon. Some stuff that has to do with Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin and the reason why Putin is and Trump acts the way he acts, the way things are happening, the way things are playing out, and not just Trump, it's Witkoff and others that are in the circle. I know for many years, a lot of people keep talking about what does Putin have over Trump? What is that compromise? And I'm going to try to answer that question. So I'm working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes, not only to get you this information, but also trying to put together. Uh, well, I could say I was trying to put together, to try to go out there and start doing some um, um, town halls, some events, but it's getting a little bit difficult, especially with what transpired in the past 48 hours. For those of you who know, it's not just me. I'm not at all. My whole family's in the fight to speak truth to power, to try to get the truth out. My son is out there, so it's been a lot of reflecting the past few days. Also, to Charlie Kirk, I knew him personally. I remember Charlie Kirk when he just came in to MAGA. He was I think he was like 23, 24 years old. Him and Candace Owens. And I remember him talking about how sitting there pitching us at America First and Don Jr. when he just first met him. And they were talking about how he's going to go to all these colleges and how he's going to go get all this conservative vote. And, so there's a lot that's been going on, but I want to focus, and we're going to get to Charlie Kirk in a second, because I think there's a lot that I want to tell you and bring to your attention because I've been speaking to my sources, and unfortunately, Donald Trump is going to be using this as a martyrdom. He's going to use Charlie Kirk as a martyr. I'm hearing from my sources that literally he's already speaking to his wife about maybe having her continue the Turning Point movement. And there's a lot of things that have been transpired in the past couple of days, and they're currently, I know they've announced that they have the shooter, and we're going to go into the shooter also and everything. But quickly, before we get into the Charlie Kirk stuff, let's do a little quick um, review of what's happening in the week, because there's a lot of things happening that didn't stop. For instance, the relationship that we have going on with Venezuela, with our, military literally getting ready to attack just on Trump's say. That's just intensified because I don't know if you folks saw, not only did Donald Trump have his Department of War, as he calls it now, shoot a boat with 11 people, but there was also another incident. This time they arrested the people and then took a video of shooting up the boat anyway. Again, this is all mind control. This is all manipulation. This is all part of Trump's way of doing it. So, I keep telling you, keep warning you to watch it. So, not only that, but there already have been confrontations in Chicago with ICE. Trump is actively uh, putting the play out and putting excuse me, the blueprint out to make sure that there's going to be a major fluctuation with the National Guard into Chicago. And what happened, in the past couple of days is going to also, I'm hearing, infiltrate, give him a lot more flexibility. He's also now planning on going into Memphis. And Memphis, what I hear about is it is one of those places where he's going to try to use that he was invited to come into Tennessee. So there's a lot going on, and that has not stopped. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand that just because the news cycle changed, and just because there has been an assassination, and there's a lot of things happening that have distracted from what is actually taking place. But Donald Trump is still aggressively trying to do away with our elections. He's trying to take over our voting rights. He's trying to dismantle our Constitution. He even, the sad part that while they were sitting there talking to him today, while he was giving an hour interview on Fox, even then he showed no empathy or sympathy to Charlie Kirk. I mean, he spoke nice of him, and he's doing it, but you could tell every time he was asked about Charlie Kirk, about how he felt, how he should address the country, how the country should see. I mean, his responses were so ridiculous. I can't even tell you, folks. I mean, he spoke about the ballroom. They asked him about Charlie Kirk and what he feels, and he said that the ballroom is about to be built that you've never seen before. So, I just want you to understand that Donald Trump, right now, and I've been speaking to plenty of sources, is right now trying to, first of all, do two things. A, he needs to try to save that young movement that Charlie Kirk established, because there's nobody to run it. There's nobody that can handle it. There's nobody to continue doing what Kirk was doing, to be able to give him that young vote, to spread the misinformation. Because what Charlie Kirk was doing, folks, and be honest, I don't want to speak about somebody that's passed away, but Charlie Kirk spread lies. Charlie Kirk spread misinformation. Charlie Kirk spread, he was an ultra, Christian, religious individual that spread the word of the Bible, and the way the way he saw it and transformed it. He was against trans rights. He was against LGBTQ. He was against, sexual. But he himself was, those of you, because you don't know, because what he stood for was hate, exactly. But he was a very big powerhouse in Donald Trump's orbit. He brought him. I truly believe that he was a big part of why he won 2024, also because of the vote and what Charlie Kirk did. So, but before we again get to Charlie Kirk, there's other things that's been happening and that I need to bring your attention on. For those of you that didn't get a chance or have not read my Substack earlier today, I would definitely encourage you to go do that, because there's a lot that's happening in Ukraine. The media is not talking about it, but Ukraine is under constant bombardment. Not only is it a constant bombardment, but it's intensifying. It's intensifying every single day. Since the Alaska meeting, folks, the intensification of the attacks in Ukraine have been outrageous. The deaths, the displacements of families, the destruction of infrastructure. I can't even explain to you. It's been going on more and more, and the media is not talking about it. And Ukraine is literally fighting a war not only against Russia, but now also China, and also there's literally thousands and thousands of troops, North Korean troops. So it's not only artillery that Iran and China and North Korea that's helping Russia, but it's also now troops. And the biggest thing of all, it's a deflection of Donald Trump. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going to be, and I'm doing this report, expose, whatever you want to do it. But I'm going to uncover the real truth of what's going on between him and Putin, and why he's going to these lengths. And that's why I want to be honest with you guys. I really need your support, because for the past several weeks, I've been watching, but we're not getting the same growth for some reason. We're not adding people to the movement, and the growth is kind of becoming like an echo chamber. And I just want to make sure to everybody out there, and I want to make it very clear: the only way we're going to save our democracy, the only way we're going to win, is if you take this information that I'm giving you, that I'm risking a lot to give you. Make sure you spread it far and wide, because I'm not some pundit. I'm not a reporter. I don't do this for a living. I literally was part of Donald Trump's crew. I was part of the initiation of of mega. And I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is, and that's why I spend every single day of my life trying to be able to explain, to be able to tell you what mega is all about, to be able to tell you what these people, not just Donald Trump, are. That's why, I try to write the letters, I try to do the lives, I go on all of these different shows to join venture. But I'm being honest with you. We need to step it up. We need to put, as I say, put the pedal to the metal and be able to grow this movement a lot quicker. Because what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, especially what played out this week, is very, very dangerous. And two major dangerous things, as I'm going to tell you. First of all, it was the fact that we're not talking at all, the media at all, zero. There was literally a blurb about that Russia attacked a NATO country. Russia sent in drones into Poland. Now, you need to understand, when Donald Trump was asked about that, and I'm going to let you hear this in his own words in a second, is how he responded to his play of his response to a NATO country being attacked. You know what? Let me let you hear it in his own words, and then we'll continue this conversation, because this is what Donald Trump is doing right now. Hold on. Okay, so here he is asked. Hold on. So let me take the. Could have been a mistake. Okay, here we go. He's being asked about that Russia sent in drones into Poland. And NATO had to get the planes ready. They had to shoot down. They shot down, I just want you to know, 19 drones. 19 drones were shot down. Not one by mistake, or 19 drones. And this is now, Trump has asked this question today, and this is his answer. What's your reaction to Russian drone incursion into Poland? Could have been a mistake. Could have been a mistake, but regardless, I'm not happy about anything having to do with that whole situation. But hopefully it's going to come to an end. Could have been a mistake. 19 drones into Poland, it could have been a mistake. I'm not happy with the situation, same thing, but it's going to come to a halt. This is Trump's way of talking about it. Again, folks, as I've been telling you for the past months, that this is part of the plan. This was no mistake. This was actually, if you read my letter, I've uncovered my sources that literally were in part of some of the China and Russia conversations, are telling me that this was part of Xi and Putin's plan of pushing to see how far they could now push the West, and also to see how far they could push Putin's hold on Trump without Trump responding. And that was pretty big, very, very big, to be able. I mean, just think about it. For all these years, the one thing that everybody keeps screaming at during the Biden administration, during Trump, is that he's not going to attack. If, God forbid, he attacks Poland, if one missile hits a NATO country, it's going to be all-out war. Well, folks, 19 drones were sent into Poland. They had to scramble NATO jets. They scrambled Polish army. They have just currently closed the border, just so you understand, with Belarus. And what did Russia do? Russia came out and threatened now Poland today. I'm going to be writing about it later on, so make sure you read my Substack that I put out later. Is they put out basically a threat to Poland, saying that if you don't open up that border, that's an act of war. So this is what's happening over there. And meanwhile, Donald Trump doing what Donald Trump does: deflect and cover up for Vladimir Putin. And that's a real crisis that is happening, and that's why we need to make sure that, and that's why I keep asking you, I keep pleading with you, that whatever you gotta do, hit those hearts, spread those messages. Because I watch, it's crazy to watch how you. I sit there sometimes and I put on Substack, and a lot of you see me going on watching these shows, so that some of these news reporters and some of these pundits have thousands and thousands of people go out there and they're listening to what they're saying, and they're just regurgitating everything that the media is talking about, or stuff that they might have heard me or somebody else that really knows the situation talk about. So that's why for we need to grow this platform as big as possible to be able to get it out, get the information out. Otherwise, I'm telling you, we're going to wake up one days and you're going to remember my words and you're going to say, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I pray that I'm wrong, because I do not want to live in that life. I don't want to be able to be right. I hope I'm wrong every single day with the things that I have to bring to you. But I don't bring it to you because I'm trying to scare you in any way. I'm bringing it to you because I need to warn you. We need to get the message out, because the only way we're going to win, the only way we're going to stop, is if this information keeps going far and wide and it reaches enough people and reaches the right people. Because when it does reach the right people, when it does reach it, you see that there's things that happen. Remember when we broke the story about the dinner that Vance was going to hold to do the Epstein cover up? Well, it made drastic changes. Literally, they had to cancel the meeting. They didn't have the conversations. They still were not able to corral what's it called, Dan Bongino. And that was all because of us, because we made it happen. The voices were loud. So that's why, for those of you that are just joining, and for those of you that are going to be watching this and the recording, please do your job. Please go out there, make sure, spread it far and wide. Make sure everybody gets it. Become subscribers. And for those of you, I'm going to be extremely honest. You're the paid subscribers. God bless you. You guys make it happen. And your contributions, I know some of you keep asking me. I'll run it quickly. You could contribute either by becoming a paid subscriber. You could contribute to my Zelle, which is, I'm sorry, Venmo at Lev-Parnas. The Zelle is at Lev Parnas. Oh, I think it is, or the real Lev Parnas at gmail.com. PayPal at Lev Parnas. I'm even confused with all these things, but I got them all out there because I know it's difficult. Everybody has so many different apps nowadays to be able to. Alex, thank you for asking about Alexander. Alexander is on his way back from. He was in Dnipropetrovsk area. He was delivered today. If you saw the letter I wrote, some of the stuff that he's already sent me that I've been putting out for you guys to see for the deliveries of the stuff that he made there, the dry packages. He's going to be back soon. We're also, for all of you there that are asking when and how we could help Alexander himself, I want to just stay patient a little bit. I've been speaking to two of his sons. They're, my nephews. They're grown boys. They haven't seen their father in over, I think, a year or more, even since this has been going on. And we're going to put together a GoFundMe for Alexander, so this way we could help him out, because he's just like everybody else in need of help. And so I want to thank everybody in advance, but we'll be putting together a GoFundMe for him. And so once we get it ready, I'll get it out to all of you out there. But in the meantime, he's in the process of trying to move. Just give you a quick update. It's very difficult to find a place where to move now. And also he's in the process of coming back to from Dnipropetrovsk, where they just went and delivered all of the aid that you, thanks to God bless each and every one of you that have donated to that cause. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your care. And I just want to give you an update on that. But we hopefully the next couple of days we'll be getting some sort of GoFundMe up for him. So this way we could directly take care of him for all the stuff he's doing. And also, I'm going to put together a little Substack letter, because a lot of you really don't even really know to what degree and what Alexander has been doing the past several years, how he's been on the front line, risking everything. He's not only is he my cousin, but he's truly an incredible human being. So what I'm going to do also is, he won't tell you about it, but I'm going to put together over this weekend, or maybe the next day or so, a letter, a little bit letting you guys know who Alexander is with, and with videos and pictures of the past 3 years, since maybe even longer, because he's been fighting this war since 2014, and he's been there helping. So, and let you to understand who this man really is and to what degree and what he's doing, because he really is, because trust me when I tell you, he's over 65, 62 years old, and so he could, if wanted to, he could leave to today and live somewhere in Europe or Poland, but he chooses to stay there. He chooses to fight the fight, and he chooses to be there, to be on the mission to help. What's it called? While he does still have kids, and even a grandson that he hasn't seen here. Yeah, so I just wanted to give you a quick update, Alex. But now let's really get into what is going on, and I'm going to bring some news to you, some really important stuff that has been taking place. So those of you know, Charlie Kirk has been assassinated. Uh, what happened in the first 24 hours right after Charlie Kirk's assassination was something that was really disgusting and really upsetting to see. But when I started watching the way the social media, the mega influencers, and even politicians like Nancy Mace rush to spin the narrative, I started realizing, knowing these people, knowing Trump, that there was more behind this than just what's it called, painting the narrative, because they knew something. They knew something was up. And I right away understood that this was not going to be a transgender person. This is not going to be some sort of far left individual, because of the way they were painting it out and the way they were trying to paint the story. Because part of the game plan, as somebody that was part of Mega, just so you understand, is to flood the news and flood the story, even if it's lies, because a lie is harder to defend and a lie spreads quicker. And if you go out there and you spread millions and millions and millions of people and you spread a lie, that even when the truth comes out, it's already done most of its work. And that's how propaganda works, and that's how disinformation works, and that's what we did when it came to the Biden information. That's why were you saw what happened with Hunter Biden, and how we were able to destroy his life and get all that dirt out there, because it's the same MO, and it's not reinventing the wheel. So you had mega influencers going out there, and I want to take this moment, and I just want you to see some of the stuff that they were saying. And this is at the same time while the suspected killer was still on the loose. We still had no understanding who this person was, if this was male, female, if this was somebody doing it from, a professional assassin, if this was just somebody that hated. No idea. This was the first 24 hours. And this is what I want you to listen to. Congresswoman Nancy Mace comes out and what she says, you know. And you have to understand this is important, because Nancy Mace is not just some regular congresswoman. She's part of the mega machine. She's part of the disinformation machine. She's part of that group that, that's clicked into, like they have the, as they say, what are those text messages on Signal. She's part of that Signal group that gets the messages. So I want you to listen very carefully how she reacted literally right after the shooting.
So, enough is enough.
Second.
This shit ends. So, enough is enough. And now I have to deal with real safety concerns. It sounds like the shooter was a tranny or pro-tranny. And just because I want to protect women, that I'm worried about getting murdered? Are you fucking kidding me? It's out of control, and enough is enough. And I'm going to double down on this. I'm going to be more vigilant than ever. I'm going to be louder than I've ever been until this shit stops. It's got to stop. This shit ends.
This shit stops. I mean, she's going to double down on it. This was a tranny. Just think about it. This is a congresswoman. This is a congresswoman coming out there talking about, spreading a message and spreading hate and spreading already a false narrative to be able to push. Let me,
For years, those who have the radical.
let me, for those of you, I'm sure a lot of you probably heard it, and I apologize for you have to rehear it. It's only 30 seconds. I'd like for you to now listen to Donald Trump, the president of the United States, respond literally hours after the attack. Still, nowhere to be found. But
For years, those on the radical left
radical.
have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law.
Very important. I want you to hear. So he said organizations and people that fund it. I don't know if you guys know, but he has opened up an investigation into George Soros. So Donald Trump has opened an investigation into George Soros after this because of the organizations that fund this stuff. I'm just giving you the chain of events that are leading up to it, but because it gets worse, because it gets a lot crazier. So while Donald Trump is on a campaign of doing all of this stuff and they're projected, let me also give you how the top social media influencers from MAGA responded. I'm just going to give you, because there were so many, I can't read all of them, but I'm going to give you enough for you to understand. One writes, "This is war." Another one writes, "The Democratic Party must be classified as a domestic terror organization and their members, leaders treated accordingly. Enough is enough." Another one writes, "Charlie Kirk getting shot is the shot heard around the country. I'm ready for civil war. If the left wants to fight, I'm going to bring a fight." Another one writes, "I don't want the National Guard sent to Democratic cities anymore. We need to send in the Air Force and bomb them. The Democrats have declared war. It's time to respond. The Democrat Party is a domestic terrorist organization whose most fanatics will not hesitate to murder their political opponents. This was not a one-off event. The Democrats couldn't kill Donald Trump, but they ended up killing Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk has been shot. Enough is enough. Democrats need to be labeled a terrorist organization." And then I'm going to end it off with two interesting ones. Laura Loomer, which we all know, and she says, "It's time for the Trump administration to shut down, defund, and prosecute every single leftist organization." Remember what I just told you? George Soros just got their open investigation. Well, this is, just so you understand, this is all yesterday. This is all before they made the big announcement that they caught the shooter. This is because this is what already they were pushing. So watch. So she goes, "If Charlie Kirk dies," this is before they even announced that Charlie Kirk was dead. This is how important I want you guys to understand. Laura and Laura Loomer could be loony, could be crazy, but she is part of that. She's plugged in. This was she's getting. She is part of that influence machine that is being put out there. If Charlie Kirk dies from his injuries, his life cannot be in vain. We must shut these lunatic leftists down once and for all. The left is a national security threat. These are important words, folks, that she said, national security threat, because Trump's trying to use that as part of bringing in the National Guard against us, the American citizens. Because now, if you speak up to Donald Trump, if you speak up against their rhetoric, you are considered a national security threat. And those are some serious words, because it gets crazy. And then to end it off, you have Elon Musk. Elon Musk comes out, the brainiac, and he responds and says, "The left is a party of murder." Yep, folks. And then he says, "If they won't leave us in peace, then our choice is fight or die." Okay, so, When I even read all this garbage, it just like my head starts spinning because this is what we're dealing with. This is what I want you to understand: what we're dealing with, what is happening, and the truth of what is going on. Because, and it gets even interesting that from here. So now, hold on a second. Let me get to so where we are here. So now let me tell you the reality. Let me tell you what really is going on. Let me tell you exactly who the shooter is. Let me tell you what is happening inside. And let me tell you why it's more important than ever for us to build this platform, why it's more important than ever for our voices to be heard, why it's more important than ever for us to right now to go that little extra mile, push it a little extra, a little harder to try to save our democracy. So the shooter, which we all know, his name is Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson came from a very conservative white family, which undercuts already all of Mega's talking points. But see, before we go further, you have to understand they already knew that because the people that run the FBI is Cash Patel. Cash Patel's on the phone with them all the time. I mean, this was, they were, Dan Bongino, they flew in there. So they knew who Tyler Robinson was, but they still allowed the push against the far left. Because why? Because they held it for an extra because they could have had the press conference last night when they arrested him. They held it an extra 24 hours strictly for this narrative of the left, the narrative of the trans, the narrative to spread for more millions and millions and millions and millions of people to keep watching this and spreading on all the social media platforms. But because they knew all along that Tyler Robinson wasn't trans, they knew all along that he came from a conservative white family. They knew all along. Tyler Robinson, he's 22 years old. He lived with his parents in Washington County, Utah. His father, Matt Robinson, is a longtime law enforcement veteran for 27 years at Washington County Sheriff's Department. He's deeply conservative and pro-Second Amendment rights. His mother, Amber Robinson, works as a caregiver and support coordinator, helping disabled people through state programs. On the outside, normal conservative family. The family lives in a 6-bedroom home in Utah. They're very financially comfortable and very, very publicly conservative. If you go to their social media platforms, you'll see them posing with firearms openly all over the place, supporting gun rights and Second Amendment rights full force. They are seen all over the place, traditional conservative family tied to pro-gun and pro-Trump politics. So now let me tell you then the real story. So you have to ask yourself, why would then a conservative, somebody that's pro-Second Amendment right, pro-Donald Trump politics, go and go ahead assassinate Charlie Kirk? Because what they're not telling you and what the media is not reporting and what nobody's talking about is what the fights and the cracks that I keep telling you that's happening inside of Mega. And there's another real major crack inside of Mega. Because when Trump ran for office, there was I don't even know what you want to call him, but far right extremist, I'll call him, by the name of Nick Fuentes. Now, it was Nick Fuentes went to dinner with Donald Trump, but they had a split. They had an openly critical. Nick Fuentes became openly critical of Trump, accusing him of betraying the hardcore national movement, of being too moderate on Israel and other issues. He also pushed younger followers towards alternative outside of Trump control. The feud between Trump and Fuentes grew. And this is where it gets interesting because Nick Fuentes is a leader of a group called the Groypers, Groypers. They're a white nationalist youth movement. They have been long at odds with Charlie Kirk over his pro-Israeli stance and other stuff. My sources are telling me that Trump and the FBI knew all about the tension between them that still allowed selective leaks to blame the left, weaponizing the tragedy while hiding the mega split. So there you have it, folks. And by the way, Brian, I see you're up here. If you want, I'll send you an invite. If you want to come up, come join. Come join me. If not, I understand. But definitely would love to hear you come up and hear your take on it for what you're hearing. But from what I want to bring to you and for you to understand that this was again part of even though somebody died, even though we have, it is a tragedy, because a life was taken. Donald Trump used that to try to use that to his advantage to right now to use him as a martyr. And this is why now it's more important than ever because we're in a very, very dangerous time. Okay, there he is. Hey, Brian, what's up, my brother?
Hey, not much. Uh, yeah, sorry
I'm
if there's
glad-
a little background noise. I'm 3D printing something for my son, so if you
Oh, I
hear,
love it. You know what? My son, he's been begging me for a 3D printer. So I can't follow this technology. It's crazy,
I'll
Brian.
send you, I'll send you some good ones that you
Okay,
might.
I appreciate it. So, Brian, I'm glad you joined us because one of the things I've been bringing everybody up to speed is that the 24 hours within the first 24 hours of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, even before we even knew he was pronounced dead, the mega social media was exploding and trying pushing the transgender narrative, pushing the attacking the far left. You had Nancy Mace and others going out there, Trump himself going out there, and together, me and you've been fighting in this. Your brother Ed's been out there, so on social media spaces getting attacked because they were trying to paint for the first 48 hours. They were accusing even you, accusing us, accusing each of them, my son Aaron, of feuding this, saying that it's because of you, the influencers, why Charlie Kirk died. It was the left's fault. And today we find out the real truth. Give me your take on this, brother.
Yeah, so I mean, we still don't know exactly what what his motives were, but he's from a conservative family. He had some anti-fascism ideologies, which I think like people on the right and the left have that. The right likes to paint people on the left as being Antifa, but Antifa is just being anti-fascist. Antifa isn't an actual organization, right? So anybody that says they're against fascism, which should be every American, is really Antifa. Uh, so I mean, there's a lot of people on the far right that I mean, they're against fascism too. There, like there's so much that we don't know yet. What is clear is that it's not a transgender. It's not somebody that is an immigrant. It's a white guy, a young white guy that typically is what these people are the ones that end up being the mass shooters and commit violence, right? Like obviously it has nothing to do with his color. It has nothing to do with his that he's male. But it's just ironic that the same people that would shout and scream about somebody being transgender and committing a horrible act now will remain silent, right? Like, and they were threatening to take the Second Amendment rights away from transgender people because a transgender person committed a heinous crime. Like, are they going to threaten to take the Second Amendment rights away from all white males? Of course not. So it's just hypocrisy.
But it's becoming more than hypocrisy because what I'm hearing, Brian, is they're gonna first of all they're gonna turn him into a martyr. The crazy part is already I've been hearing that Trump on a call with Charlie Kirk's wife while condoling her also had a conversation. Threw it in there, saying that she would be a great leader to take on turning point, and because he's worried about losing the that whole group of young active conservative group that Kirk brought him basically, and he knows without that he can't. There's nothing he can because that was a major part of his movement, major part, and just like people say, who could take over mega after Trump. There's really nobody because Trump is MAGA. I'm saying to you, JD Vance is the same thing when it comes to Turning Point USA, except for, and this is where if his wife, if they, again, I don't know it's so crazy that we're even talking about this right now. We should be talking about his two young kids and how this is a tragedy, and instead we are forced to sit here and strategically talk about how they're about to use this murder, how they're about to use this, and flip it and try to put more National Guard, put more, restrictions on, take away more of our rights, put blame again more of the left, and go. It's crazy.
It's like my biggest fear that like when we were live that, minutes after Kirk was shot the other day, like the first thing that jumped in my head, and I mean, it's terrible that this was the first thing that jumped in my head, but it was like they're going to weaponize this for Trump to take further power from the people. And I'm sure that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna use it to attack somebody, regardless of if he ends up having some ideologies that are left, which right now it seems like he's somewhere in the middle. Uh, like
I'm hearing no.
the
He's a conservative. He's a
well,
conservative.
one of the things is that he was prominent on 4chan. He tweeted things or he not tweeted, he posted things, uh, somewhat in alignment with Nick Fuentes.
Thank you.
Nick
That's
Fuentes Nick Fuentes does not get along with Charlie Kirk. He speaks out against Charlie Kirk. So there's that angle. Like I don't wanna say too much now because there's not enough,
Well,
hard evidence.
I'm glad you talked about that, but I could even tell you that's what I'm hearing also from my sources, and that's a real angle because one of the things when I listened to the press conference and then I made some phone calls is that what they said is that the shooter was unhappy with certain things with Charlie Kirk. What's it called? And then I did a little bit of calls and stuff like that, and he was really aligned with Nick Fuentes and this whole group to the point where he even I think dressed as that meme of a frog or grope or whatever it is for
Yep.
Halloween.
Yeah.
For Halloween, whereas the family was aware of that. And what I'm saying to you, the family was I mean, they were publicly very well conservative, pro Second Amendment, so yes, he might have lingered away a bit because, and this is, I think, where the main point, what I'm trying to get to everybody is that MAGA has cracks in it. They're all not on the same side. Where when it all started out, remember Nick Fuentes, Brian, if you want to remind everybody, went to dinner with Donald Trump.
Yep.
They were best buddies. I mean, he was all for it. Now Nick Fuentes is against Donald Trump. And that's where you have the break. Same thing that happened with Charlie Kirk and some of the conservatives inside that are against, certain things that Donald Trump is doing, like with the Epstein stuff, like with, allowing Israel to just, go destroy, do whatever they want. You know what I'm saying to you? Like what he said, what's going on with Putin and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that they're not agreeing, especially the Epstein stuff.
Yeah, and what usually happens in these situations is that, both sides jump to conclusions, and then it ends up being something that neither side really even imagined, right? Like, if you told me that it was gonna be somebody and I'm not saying it is, but somebody that supported Nick Fuentes, like, I wouldn't have imagined that, and you told somebody on the right that as well, right? So and I think both sides they and I don't mean to keep saying both sides because this isn't really a problem with the left, but they're going to look for reasons to blame the other side. And this Trump did this right out of the gate. Trump was likely wrong, and of course he won't apologize, but the damage has already been done because so many people saw those first statements, that national address where he blamed far left radicals, and now in their head it's the left did this. The left are violent,
And that was the key point to what I would start off by saying, and I'm glad you just said that, Brian, because that's the key point. Because of what Trump did, and because of what Laura Loomer and all these social media influence did, the first 24 to 48 hours, by going out there and spreading that it was transgender, that it was the left, they already implemented that. Millions, hundreds of millions of people have already seen that, have already put in their brain that the fact that today they came out and put this guy instead, they're already, the first reaction is to defend that theory and try to find some middle
Yep.
ground where he possibly, they can't accept that, because so they're pushing, they're doubling down, they're tripling down, and they're pushing it more and more. And that's why I keep saying that, why it's so difficult for us to spread the truth, because first of all, lies are so much easier to be spread. You gotta go twice as hard to be able to fight them with truth. But they
10
have
times.
these, but they have these crazy platforms. They have these millions of followers, and and we're doing what we can. That's why I keep saying we gotta keep growing. We gotta keep building. This community, this movement, the resistance to be able to go stop them. Because especially the past few weeks, month, I've been seeing that it's kind of, maybe people think that we're gonna win the midterms and are slowing down and thinking this fight is not over. But I'm warning you, this is far from over, and
Yeah.
we're in such dangerous territory that if right now we need you more and more and more to subscribe, to go out there, to spread the message, to do whatever you can to help us, you know, spread this message far and wide to be able to get our democracy back. Otherwise, you're going to wake up and you're going to be very sorry one day that you didn't do it. For those of you that don't, for those of you that do, God bless you, because you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think that, like, we do get Democrats typically get in this state where, like, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna win 2026, no worries," and then, Donald Trump pulls the rug out of you because all these Republican states are working with him to take seats in the House, and we won't win, right? So, I think we need to have an overwhelming victory in order to overcome any gerrymandering, and if we don't, like, America's in trouble. Having 3.5 more years of Donald Trump without any pushback is direct fascism. And I don't care if you're out there and you're saying, "Oh, your rhetoric of saying that this is fascism is what's going to hurt people." No, speaking out against fascism when fascism is happening is a noble cause. I'm not speaking for violence, never use violence, but speaking out against actions which are clearly fascist. And I say clearly fascist, anybody can go and read the signs of fascism, and you could check off probably 10 of the 15 that the Trump administration is doing right now, clearly, right? And then probably another 3 or 4 that are like, okay, well, we're almost there. So just be vigilant. Keep speaking out. Don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid of people saying, "Oh, your rhetoric is causing violence," because that's not what's happening. It's crazy people with guns causing violence.
100%, and I couldn't say it better myself. But it is scary right now, knowing that, because they're fueling such a rhetoric right now, and there's so many crazies out there that all they want to hear, and they don't want to believe anywhere else, that it was the left, that there was the deep state that set him up. This was a Mossad operation, that he was a fault. They're not going to listen to the truth, and the crazy part is, because the people that have the truth in their hands are not going to spread the truth. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't see Cash Patel coming out there and trying to unite this country by making a point and making for sure that the people understand why this happened and it wasn't left. On the contrary, I think it's the opposite. I think this is what we're going to see, is start narratives, the way it's going to be leaked, the way it's going to be reported, and more or less the things that's not going to be reported, things that's not going to be talked about, things going to be left out, just like they're doing with the Epstein files. What I'm hearing and what I'm scared of, and that's why I had the space for, I mean, this live right now, is that they're going to paint the picture, and they already started painting the narrative, and they're going to keep painting it, where they're going to turn Charlie Kirk into a martyr, and this is going to be part of the rally cries to get more National Guard. Again, this is all part of, now, if you remember in 2020, it was all immigration, and it's nothing. Now all you see is crime. Crime, crime, crime. It's the same MO. And that's why I want, and like Brian says, stay vigilant, folks. Make sure you're vigilant because we're telling you what to look at. It's the same. It's, don't take your eye off the ball. Right now, everything that has to do and everything they're talking about, everything leads to crime, to be able to give them more power to do what? Take away your rights. Even today, and the crazy part, did you see his 1 hour interview today on Fox?
I did, yes.
Okay, did you watch the mumbling and rambling on some of those answers where they asked him about how you feel about Charlie Kirk, and he goes off on he's building a
Yeah,
ballroom, and
yeah. Like
how they ask him a
it's
simple question like, how do you speak to your son? How do you. And as they said that, I swear to you, my wife was saying to me, she goes, "I bet you he never spoke to his son Baron about the shooting. Even
right,
that's why he doesn't know how to answer it.
right, right.
They're like, what do you want to tell the country right now? And he says, I don't give a shit. He's like, they might not like it, but I don't. Go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry. I'm just rambling. I can't even believe what the shit that was coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, I mean, does he really care about, what's happening? No, he just wants to use it as a way to, consolidate more power. He's gonna use it as to kind of like say, "Okay, well, there's so much violence, I'm gonna use the National Guard here, or I'm gonna send the military here." And
That's it.
that's what you see, that's one of the signs of fascism, right? Turning the military against the American public and scapegoating people. In this case, it's hard to scapegoat because he's a a white dude, but if it wasn't, he would be scapegoating them into being the cause of all the problems that he causes. And we see it time and time again if you look throughout history. Like anybody that hasn't read a history book about the various fascist regimes, do so. You'll see the parallels are so clear.
Yeah, and it's not just here. What he's doing right now, and what he's allowing Xi and Putin to do by literally attacking a NATO country right now, sending in 19 drones and coming out and calling it a mistake. Maybe it was a mistake. I'm not happy with it, but whatever the case is, I mean, this while the media is chasing, I mean, this is some crazy stuff. We are folks, and again, I'm not trying to fear monger. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not. Even though I am very scared, and so is Brian, and so are all of us, because we're living right now in an environment, especially us, the people that speak truth to power, that are out there on the fight. I mean, Brian gets so many death threats. They attack his wife, his kids, his family, his brother every single day. I can't even tell you how many death threats and how many different messages I've been getting over the past several days since this has happened. I can't imagine what you've been getting, and it's scary to walk out because remember, all it takes is one nut. You know what I'm saying to you? One nut that does it, that recognize you and wants to become that famous person, and thinking in his mind he's taking somebody out. So the way they're fueling it, and this is where it's the really messed up part, because instead of taking a moment like this and really trying to unify the country, and this is where it shows you who Donald Trump really is. For all those people that were saying when he was shot at that he changed, he was a different person. I told you he didn't change. He was no different person. He didn't even he didn't even know he got shot. If he did get shot, so we're not even gonna. That's a separate conversation altogether. But we're not even gonna go down that road right now. So it didn't change him. He did. Just look at the way he's looking at that. He cares more about his ballroom being built right now than what's happening with Charlie Kirk. He's using it. Oh, great! Yeah, I could get some more votes, or I could use this to build. But that's it. There's no love lost.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Like I said, like he will use whatever he can to his own political advantage. Things like this play right into him, right into his political advantage, right? Like he gets to paint the left as being violent. He gets to say that there needs to be more power in the executive branch, and he'll go on and keep deflecting away from Epstein and the economy and everything that the tariffs are causing. Like any deflection away from the harm that he's doing so that he can blame other people for the harms of society, he'll take in a heartbeat and run with it.
100%. I'm trying to find actually one of Nick Fuentes actually s- said something. I can't find it right now. I'm trying to find. I wanted everybody to listen to it, but basically, how he blamed Charlie Kirk. He came out and said Charlie Kirk got killed because of his pro-Christian nationalist views and going to colleges. something to that effect. I mean, look, this is just the beginning. And this is another cover up that's going to take place because this is not going to be another, like, let's find the truth why Tyler Robinson did. Because once they find the truth, they're not going to like the answers why he did it because of their own radicalization, because of their own nonsense and the talks that they do. And it's going to try to be another cover up, another distraction, another diffusion, and another thing that's going to be pushed to try to be. And again, I hope the left, the Democratic leadership, because I don't see, I mean, the things that are being thrown at them right now, and because we have no unity whatsoever in the Democratic leadership, it's really scary to see what's going on.
Yeah,
Really scary.
I agree, and, like, now they're gonna hold this death penalty over his head, and, I mean, hopefully, there's good prosecutors, honest prosecutors that we're dealing with here, but, I mean, in Utah, who knows? They'll be able to say, "Hey, you admit to this crime," which he turned himself in, I believe, right? But you
His father brought him in.
Yeah, you admit to this crime and say, "This is why I did it," we won't give you the death penalty. I mean, that's a possibility. Like, I mean, that's a
Listen,
possibility.
look what happened with
Right.
Maxwell. Absolutely. Look, Maxwell said Trump didn't write a birthday letter and she got transferred over. Maybe he'll come out and say, yes, I was thinking about being transgender and that's why I wanted to kill him. And then next thing you know, he won't have the death sentence. That's how sick of a world we live in that we even are even contemplating talking
Yeah, I
about
know.
this. So, yeah,
Right.
just
The
think about
fact
that.
that we're even contemplating that might be a possibility that that they could, work their way through different prosecutors in order to find one that will do whatever the Trump administration wants them to do, is scary. And, like, of course, it would take him, going along with it. But if you dangle a death penalty, and say, "Hey, we'll go for life," that could be enough. And like I said, like, I don't wanna dabble in conspiracy theories, but that could be a possibility. So, like you said, we might not get the full truth. Hopefully we do. Hopefully people outside of, him speak up and tell us what happened rather than him being influenced by prosecutors or by the White House.
Absolutely. And before we go, I just want to tell everybody how radicalization, how dangerous it is, how all of the social media, how all of this lies, how all this misinformation. This is a 4.0 GPA student. This is not, a kid that goes to college. If you take a look at his social media page, forget about him liking guns or being conservative, but this is your typical American family, that what's it called, that all of a sudden got so radicalized because of our politics. And just think about it, because of our politics, not because we're usually used to radicalization coming from religion. That used to be before Donald Trump. That's where typically your most radicalization would come is from religion, where people would take it to the next step. Like, now it's become politics. And the only person, and I'm going to say it again, the only person that's at fault in everything that's going on here is one, that's Donald J. Trump. It's because of the division that he is causing, that he has caused in this country, that he has caused in this world, that he's caused between American citizens, that we're at each other's throats, that where people are scared to go out there and just speak and be able to use our First Amendment God-given rights to be able to have free speech, to organize, to go protest. Because we're scared that ICE is going to come take us out. We're scared that some lunatic is going to shoot us. We're scared that, the story, the narratives that they're painting. I mean, you got the president of the United States that's supposed to be for all the people. The president of the United States is supposed to be for all the people. Now Trump comes out today and says, this is going to get me in trouble, but I'm going to say it anywhere, and I don't give a shit. He said that left Democratic lunatics need to be taken out.
Mm.
And like Brian says, that's fascism. That's
Yeah.
authoritarianism. That's dictatorship. Okay, so that's not for all the people. Brian, thank you for joining us. I know you got a lot going on. It's Friday. I hope you have a peaceful, enjoy weekend with your family. Go give them some extra hugs today, bro.
Yeah.
Get away from this stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's what I'm
too.
gonna do.
Yeah. Have a great
All right,
weekend.
take care, my brother. Everybody, make sure you subscribe to the Krasensteins because they are him and his brother Ed. truly are out there, true patriots, real fighters out there of disinformation, and the shit that they take and the attacks that are on them. I mean, they have Secret Service coming to their house after every time we have an interview. I hope not this time. I hope you have no Secret Service coming to your
Me
house.
too.
But these guys have seen, so I know definitely subscribe and support their mission too, because they're on the right side of history of talking truth to power. Take care. Have a great weekend, my brother.
Thanks, Lev. See ya.
So there you have it, folks. I mean, that was great, Brian. And this is what Substack is all about, that we're able to have people jump on, join us, give us a perspective. And Brian pretty much told you exactly what I was trying to tell you. There's rifts going on in Mega right now. They're already pushing the narrative. It's a very crazy and very, very scary time between what's going on overseas in the in Eastern Europe with Russia, Ukraine, now Poland in the mix. The fact that Trump has allowed Netanyahu to strike Qatar, which nobody's talking about right now, but the Qatari ambassadors coming here. There's a lot going on there. The fact that right now we have ICE agents, literally confrontations already happening in Chicago. He's talking about sending them into Memphis, the National Guard. And now Donald Trump is going to use this Charlie Kirk death into turning him into a martyr. The mega machine, is already in full force, already blaming. It doesn't matter to them the truth, and that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter who and what. To them, it's all about the narrative, and the narrative that they're going to push right now, that it was the left that did this. And the scary part, and this is where I come, what I fear for, is the attacks that they're doing on people like Harry Sison, like my son Aaron, like the Krasensteins, like on me, saying that our rhetoric, are telling the truth. They call it rhetoric. Us going telling the truth about what, and reporting and giving the inside look of what they're talking about. They call that incitement, and they're saying that this is who's inciting. That it's because of us, and us talking about is what's happening to Charlie Kirk, and that's the dangerous part. That's the dangerous part, because that's the narrative they're going to push, because they have all the control and all the power. And that's why right now we have to support each other and be really, really together. And that's why I keep saying, you guys, right now, more than ever, you need to, tighten, it's like how you got to tighten their belt even a little bit more, even a little more. You do whatever you got to do. We got to build this platform. We got to make sure we get our voices out. You've seen the results when we do it. When you guys go out there and start making the phone calls, start writing your letters, start making our voice louder heard, things start happening. And that's what we need to. So I know, it's hard to do it on a daily basis, but unfortunately, this is war. Just like Alexander in Ukraine, and the Ukrainians are fighting every day for survival, to be able to take a shower, to be able to have some food, or even to be able to have their kids one day wake up without sirens. Just like we also here in the United States, same thing, fight every day to hope to wake up that, we hear we're not having the National Guard coming into our cities, that we don't have ICE taking away people off the streets, that our First Amendment rights are not being taken away, that we're not being threatened to be thrown in jail or to be possibly killed or assassinated because we're out there trying to tell the truth, try to speak truth to power. I mean, this is the world we live in right now. So that's why it's more important than ever, we need to stay together and in this fight. And I'm going to just leave you off with, it's Friday, a lot of craziness. It's been, very, emotional week. Take today and, take a little time off, just and hug your loved ones, and go out to dinner with your loved ones, spend some time with your kids, turn the TVs off, stop with the social media, turn off, all of that, and just, concentrate on yourself, concentrate on your mental health, your families, your loved ones, because we are so intertwined with this on day, because nothing's leaving. It's only getting worse, and we're about to enter a new phase. The next year is a new phase that we're entering, and that's why we got to get strong. We got to be stronger than ever, folks. And remember, I really want you to understand, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to warn you. but I am scared because it is scary, and you should be scared. There's nothing wrong with being scared as long as you're aware, as long as you know what you're doing. Doesn't matter. But together we will prevail. We will win. We will save our democracy. We will save the world from these tyrants. But together we will do it. So I just want to say God bless each and every one of you. For those of you that subscribe, thank you. For those of you who are paid subscribers or contribute, God bless you. For those of you that are new to the family, welcome. And I'm also this weekend going to do a special either uh, uh, story time with Lev or a Q&A for you guys over this weekend so we could spend a little time together and give back to you guys. Plus, I'm working on some major breaking news about the compromise, the Trump, the Russia, the Putin, Trump. This is something that's been in the works for over 35, 40 years, and it's not just Donald Trump. It's a lot of influential people in the United States. It's a major KGB operation, and some of my sources are risking a lot to bring me some of this information. So stay tuned and make sure, because once we break it, I'm going to need you to break that far and wide, because we're going to need to really show the world why Donald Trump is backing down to Russia, why they're allowed before it's too late, before Russia literally is going to be controlling the United States, which they almost are. Because the one thing that, and I know I'm going to run, but there's just so much that I want to tell you guys. I don't know if you remember, I wrote a story to you about Sergei Gore. Remember Sergei Gore, the Russian asset that Trump put in the White House, that wouldn't even take his own, background check, but was the one that was involved of hiring over 4,000 personnel. The person that is, Putin's connected to the Kremlin. You know where Sergei Gore is now, folks? Sergei Gore is now the ambassador of India. Trump made him the ambassador of India. And there's a reason why he's the ambassador of India, because after Trump's tariffs, supposedly to hurt Russia, they weren't meant to hurt Russia. They were meant to hurt the relationship between India and the United States, which it did. And you saw Modi go to China. And now who comes in? Who's going to take over that relationship? It's not going to be the United States. It's going to be Putin asset and that Trump is putting in there. So Sergei Gore right now is the ambassador to India from the United States. Just to give you a little bit more news, which I'll be talking about more later on. So for all of you that joined late, I'm going to be putting this out later on and sending it out to all of you. So make sure to watch it. Make sure you send this information far and wide, because this is another campaign that's taking place right now to be able to push that it was the left. Folks, it wasn't the left. This was an internal mega dispute between and this is that guy Charlie Kirk shot. So wanted to give you an update on that. I want to wish you everybody a happy and wonderful weekend. Take care, guys.